we're live. Today I have the honor of interviewing Stunna Lorenzana. The Silver Spring, Maryland emcee has been putting in work for years. With an impressive discography, he recently released El Mágico. It's been opening up doors, and he performed at South by Southwest and has a lot more coming up. We're going to bring him in and talk to him about his music career, his new project, and future plans. Let's bring him in. Peace, Stunna, what's up?
What's up, Brody?
I'm good, my brother. Thank you so much for joining the Cristopolis show. Really excited to talk to you about your career and El Mágico, the new project that you have that's been opening up doors. You were performing at South by Southwest. Talk to us about the new project.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you having me on the show. Been seeing the episodes, really dope episodes that you've been coming out with. And yeah, I mean, this last project, so it's called El Mágico. It's I kind of took it back to like the mixtape, the mixtape days where like kind of jacking for beats. So a lot of the instrumentals were like industry instrumentals, a few original productions. But yeah, the project is called El Mágico. I based the project, the theme after a soccer player from El Salvador. That's where my mom's from. That's her country, and he's a legendary soccer player called El Mágico Gonzalez. And I've been playing soccer since I was young. I kind of been real heavy into it lately, so I kind of named it after that.
That's really dope. Yeah. What era is El Mágico from? Like the soccer player?
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, I don't know exactly, but if I was to guess, I think it's like late 70s, early 80s.
Got it.
So he, I believe, played with El Salvador when they went to the only World Cup that they've been to. I know.
Yeah, they went to the World Cup.
Yep. So whichever one that was, I'm pretty sure he played with them, and they got punished the time that they went. But yeah, I think it was like the early 80s. Like that's like late 70s, early 80s was his prime. He also played for Barcelona. And he played for Cadiz in Spain. Wow. So, legendary player.
That's dope. That's dope. El Mágico, where can people find it so we make sure that they go and they stream it?
Yeah, so El Mágico, the project, right now it's on mymixtapes.com. It's on SoundCloud, and it's on Audio Mac.
Dope.
Because it was like I said, kind of like jacking for beats. I didn't.
Yeah, you couldn't put it on all the DSPs.
On the DSPs, yeah. There's a couple original tracks or original instrumentals that possibly may kind of end up on the DSPs in the future.
Yeah.
But right now, my mixtapes, Audio Mac, and SoundCloud. Those are the three websites where you can find the project.
Dope. Now you mentioned that he's a player from El Salvador. Part of your family is from El Salvador, right? So you've got that lineage. Can you talk to us about your background, your Latino background?
Yeah, yep. So my mom is from El Salvador. She's from San Miguel, El Salvador. And my dad's from Guatemala. He's from Guatemala City. They met here in the DC area, and they had me. So I was born in DC. I was born in DC, late 80s. And yeah, and then I was raised pretty much since like my early ages in Silver Spring.
Yeah.
When I was a baby, I grew up around like PG County, but then like as I started getting into elementary school and stuff like that, all the way through my adulthood, it's been the Silver Spring area, pretty much my whole life to date. So
yeah. And for people outside of the DMV, PG County means Prince George's County, which is an area right beside Washington, D.C. in Maryland. Mm-hmm. And Silver Spring, Maryland is an area right outside of Washington, D.C.
Yep.
My mom is from Guatemala.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could relate with you on that.
Yeah.
My dad is from Chile, my mom's from Guatemala, and they met in the D.C. area.
Okay.
And then I moved out here to LA.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. You were talking about how in addition to your love for music. You've been passionate about soccer for years. This project is named after a famous soccer player. For you, personally, what correlations are there between hip hop, your love for music, your abilities as a music creator, and your love for the game of soccer, the sport, the beautiful game?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, soccer was like my first love. I started playing it probably when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
And it was like my first love. That's what I was doing all throughout grade school and stuff like that. As I got, I guess, older into like the teenage years and stuff like that, that's when I kind of discovered rap music and rapping and stuff like that. So it's always been kind of like, meshing one with the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think like for me, sports and music has always been like two of my biggest passions. Um, so yeah, I mean, it just seems like natural to me. Like, like they're just two things that are really are like the two things that pretty much it's a daily thing. If I'm not playing soccer, I'm making music. Like
Yeah.
those are the two things that I've been doing since I can remember.
That's
So
awesome.
I mean, it just seems natural to me.
Yeah. What position do you play in soccer?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I was like like a striker, goal scorer type of player.
Yeah.
And now, that I'm the older cat on the team, I'm more like defensive. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I play like right back, left back, defensive player, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
You got the wisdom. You know what the strikers are gonna do.
yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
I know where this guy's going. I'm gonna be there. Or
yeah.
watch this guy.
That's what I try to use, man. I try to use the mind more because the body's getting older. So
Yeah.
these young guys are fast, man. These young guys are fast out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, that's really good. Yeah, all of
yeah,
that provides a background. And to kind of like make sure that we cover the whole soccer piece, because this new project named after a famous soccer player and Mágico, it's
yeah,
a big part of your life. And I think the people love to learn about artists that they like. And when they listen to the music, understanding a background on their biography really helps.
yeah.
Um, what's your like what's your squad or what's your soccer teams that you love?
Yeah, so for me, I've never been like big on like the actual, clubs. Like some people are Real Madrid, some people are Barcelona, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've been more like, so growing up, my dad was a Brazil fan.
Yeah.
So
They
ever since I started
were
playing,
winning all the World Cups
yeah,
back then.
so ever since I was little and started playing, I just don't like I just had memories of me and my dad watching Brazil games. So for me, Brazil has always been my team because just kind of nostalgic to me.
Yeah.
So Brazil has always been my team. Definitely when the U.S. plays, I root for the U.S.
Yeah.
And I would say if any club team that I would say that I can root for, like I would say DC United, just because when it comes to home team sports, I'm all home team sports. So
Yeah.
definitely DC United
DC
is one
United
of the
had
teams.
the squad back in the day when they started it back up.
They
They had
did.
a Diablo Echeverri and they won the first. I think they won the first two championships.
They did, man. They did. It was a golden era when they started, and it's been rough, man. It's been like all other DC
It's like
sports. It's like
like the Redskins, Commanders, whatever. It's like we had an era, and then that's it.
yeah, man. It's just like the Commanders, the Wizards, the DC United. Even I mean the Nationals and the Caps. They'll like sometimes maybe get a championship, and then they'll just fall to nowhere again. So
Yeah,
it's tough being a DC sports fan.
it is,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
It really is. I know what you mean.
yeah.
So you recently performed at South by Southwest. Can you talk to us about that whole thing? I mean, South by Southwest is like a major um, festival. You know what I'm saying? Was it your first time going to South by Southwest?
Yeah, yeah, it was my first time. I've always wanted to go to South by Southwest. This year, I was like, man, I'm gonna try to find a way to go. And yeah, I just kind of went, and I kind of, like winged it. I mean, I didn't really have any performances lined up. So and I kind of just showed up and see, who I can meet and who I can talk to.
Yeah,
And I was able to, a couple open mics, a
yeah,
couple just random performances to network and stuff. I did work with this company called Greater Than Distribution, which is like a distribution company. I think they're based in LA actually.
Yeah.
And so I was working with them because they kind of like are building a community where they're like trying to, I guess, like build like A&R scouts to find different artists and stuff like that. So they were doing that. I met them. I kind of did that for a day or two. And then, yeah, besides that, I was just networking a lot. And I had a couple open mic performances, and it was a great experience. I mean, I met people from literally all over the world.
Yeah.
It
How
was
many
dope.
days were you at South by Southwest?
Yeah, so I got there on a Thursday, and I think I left on a Sunday. So pretty much a weekend. Yeah, but so much to do, man. So much
Yeah.
to do.
What's it like? I mean, is it like, because I've never been to South by Southwest. Is it like just constant, like all
Yeah,
day?
I mean, yeah, man. It's like it's literally it's like every day there's shows going on throughout the day. I actually did go to, I guess they call it. I think it's like a fireside chat. Um,
Yeah.
and um, and what's my man's name from American Idol? Randy Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so he was the one that was hosting it and stuff like that. He dropped a lot of gems about the music industry and A&Ring and stuff like that, producing records, finding artists. So it was just stuff like that throughout the whole day. Stuff like that throughout the whole day. I went to like a bunch of free shows, like Rolling Stone was having an event. A lot of like Afrobeat artists. Actually, the day before, Peso Pluma had performed, and I got there late, so I got there the next day, so I wasn't able to watch to see him. But I mean, you see people from just underground artists to the biggest artists in the
They're
world.
all
So
there.
they're all there, man. It's crazy.
That's dope.
Yeah, there's so much to do, man. I definitely recommend if you can make it out to one, definitely try to check it out. I mean, and then there's like there's tech stuff going on, there's movie stuff going on, so there's stuff for everybody.
That's dope,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. So it's what's really interesting is like as an artist, you always have to like keep growing, right, and keep adapting with the technology and the way that the industry's changing. I've been following your career for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So there's like, you go way back to the Desafio days.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, I remember you back then locally in the DMV and all the way till now, right? You got like the new project that you're
Yeah.
pushing. Talk to us about how you've seen the music industry change and what it means, as an independent.
Yeah, I mean it's been crazy, man. I mean, there's been so many changes. So from when I started, so yeah, like, for those that have been following me, so when I started, I was like, I did a reggaeton group with like my high school friends, and that's how we started doing shows and stuff locally. And back then we were like burning mixtapes on CDs and stuff like that, handing them out, doing shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now it's transitioned to streaming, it's transitioned to everything's online, everything is tech. So I mean, it's always evolving every single day. So yeah, as an independent, it's tough. It's tough. Like when you gotta, if you're not like signed to a major label and stuff like that, you gotta figure out how to do this stuff on your own daily. So it could be kind of overwhelming, but I mean, if you enjoy doing it, I mean, you're gonna find a way, and that's kind of what I've been doing since I started.
That's
just kind of always evolving, trying to find my own way.
One of the things that you've done really well, I think, throughout your career, and especially recently, is that you've leveraged social media through video content, right? You're always coming through with a dope visual, right? Whether it's more like a freestyle track over a popular beat, or whether it's a completely original, whether it's all the way done video on Vivo, or even just something that's more pared down, good shot, good lighting, but just, shot right there, one take. You've been really good about continually doing that. Can you talk to us about your video work, your visuals, and how you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I don't know. I guess I think I'm like kind of like a visual person.
Yeah.
I've always been a visualizer type. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's something that I've always kind of been into. I guess like just not even realizing that I was so like creative or just always kind of into that. So yeah, I mean, so me, I mean, for the most part, I've done everything in-house. So all the stuff that I worked on, you know, I mean, I've definitely worked with a lot of videographers from the DMV area.
Yeah.
Even outside the DMV area, I've worked with people from Florida, New York, and stuff like that. But it's always like a collaboration. It's always like, you know, I have this idea. Can you help me create this for this song? And so even now, me personally have gotten into editing videos because again, I mean, with this with this, you know, in industry, you have to learn how to do everything.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, I'm learning how to edit my own music videos. And I don't know, it's always been important to me that like it's just, you know, creating the music is one aspect of it, but you know, if you can have like a dope visual behind it, a dope story behind it, it's just gonna help to, you know, capture more eyes and get the music and the message out there more. So that's why it's always kind of been important to me.
That's dope, man.
So,
So like before you actually started doing music videos,
mhm.
you know, was that the first time you were interested in doing, you know, camera work and visuals? Was it through the music video that you got interested in that area?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. I think, you know, the first time I did a music video was, I think when I was still like doing the reggaeton group Desafío with my
Yeah.
friends, and we did like one music video, and then I realized like, wow, this is dope. Like, I didn't know like this was the process of making a music video.
Yeah.
And then, you know, once I kind of went on my own, I mean, I just kind of started figuring out different things, just trying out different things, different, you know, techniques of shooting, editing, working with different videographers, different styles,
Yeah.
doing stuff that was, you know, more cinematic and stuff like that. So, yeah, so you know, that's kind of where it's been at now. And so, so I just actually um, opened my own company. So it's called Plata Primavera Recordings. It's a studio, but it's also like a production company.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start, you know, doing music videos for other artists, recording other artists, um, marketing for other artists and stuff like that. So it's gonna be like a media company.
Yeah.
So so that's, you know, kind of the direction that I'm heading towards now.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Plata Primavera Studios?
Recording. Yeah, well,
Recording.
it's called Plata Primavera Recordings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
it's
so Plata,
basically all of it. It's
yeah,
like it's
it's basically
everything you've done for your
pretty
career that you
much.
have knowledge. Marketing, branding,
Yeah.
recording, music video,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. And so yeah, and so and I'm also working on a podcast where pretty much I'm going to be talking about all that.
Yeah.
And that's going to be coming soon. So it's going to be like a DIY for rappers and musicians. I mean, it's going to be a little bit about everything, but I think that will be kind of the main focus. So that'll be coming soon.
That's
Just
dope.
working on it.
So
Yeah,
follow Stunna Lorenzana so you can like keep up the date for when the
yeah,
new podcast is dropping.
for sure.
What does Plata Primavera what is it? You know, like I speak Spanish,
Yeah.
right? So like I know what it means, but what does it mean to you? Like what's the meaning of it?
So the meaning to me, basically, it's Silver Spring in Spanish. So, you know, and, you know, I've always been repping my city since I started this, you know, and the DMV, you know, I think now it's kind of getting a little more known, you know,
Yeah.
but people outside of the DMV, they don't really know what it is. They don't know DC, Maryland, Virginia, stuff like that. But yeah, but you know, if you're in the DMV area, what I've noticed is that people are kind of more precise about where they're from
Oh,
in
for
the
sure.
DMV. Yeah. So, you know, so that's just what
It's
I've
just
been.
culturally so different, right? Like I grew
Yeah,
up in Virginia,
yeah,
you know, and I would go, and then when I finished school, I moved to DC, and I lived in
yeah,
DC.
yeah,
So Virginia cats don't know that much about Maryland unless you had family out there. And
yeah,
same thing with Maryland cats. They go to DC. They don't know that much about what's on the other side of the bridge
yeah,
unless for whatever reason you got a girl out there, you got family out there.
yeah,
So when I lived in DC, I lived over on Georgia Ave
yeah,
and in Columbia Heights. So It was hood back then when
Yeah.
I was there. It was like literally the hood.
It was,
So I would go hang out in Silver Spring.
yeah.
That was my hangout all the time. Cause you had the movie theater, you had
City Play.
the AFI and all
Yeah.
that stuff. That was just my spot I would go to,
Yeah.
right? So that's how I actually spent a significant amount of time in Silver Spring. But you're
Yeah.
right, the identity of the different parts of the entire DMV is very different.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, like if you're from DC, like you know, people are particular about DC things, and if you're from Maryland, people are particular about that, and you're from Virginia, it's like particular about that. So yeah, to me, you know, just repping my city, and then like trying to represent what I feel is kind of like a representation of where I'm from, and then mixing in like the Latin culture and stuff like that. So that's kind of always been important to me.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
You know, for people who like maybe are discovering you or aren't as aware of your entire discography, if you
Mhm.
had to direct them to a specific video or two, right? That you're like, okay, you know, kind of like the Stunna Lorenzana sampler, like, yo, check out this joint and this joint if you want to get to know me as an artist. Two
Yeah.
videos that you're really proud of. Where would you direct them?
So I would say one video would be a video that I did for the record called Mr. Old Days. It's a real, you know, real feel good song, real like, uh, I guess you could say deep kind of song. It means a lot to me, you know, about me growing up and stuff like that. It did good as far as like views and stuff like that. And I think it was shot and edited real
Yeah,
well.
it's a beautiful video. I know
Yeah.
exactly what video you're talking about.
Appreciate. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it tells a good story and that, you know, pretty much kind of like sums up me as an artist and stuff like that. So I would say definitely look out for that. It's called Mr. Old Days. You can look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Um, and then another video I would say that I'm kind of more well known for, especially out here in the DMV. There was a music video for a Mo County cipher. This was a while ago, probably like almost 10 years ago or more. And that one did a lot of like numbers and stuff like that. And that's what a lot of people around here, they was like, oh, you were in the Mo County cipher. That was like, remember me for that. So yeah, so you could also look that up, Mo County cipher, if you look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mo County for the folks outside of the DMV means Montgomery County.
Yeah, that's
Moco.
Montgomery County. Yep, Montgomery County, and that's one of the counties that's right outside of DC.
Yeah. You know, you've been in the game for so long that you've been helping artists and, you know, moving your career forward. You used to have, and you know, I want to know if you're still doing it or plan to have something similar,
Mm-hmm.
like a show where you would have different artists called Before the Wave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Before the Wave joint.
You're
Can you
right.
talk to us about what Before the Wave was and kind of like where you're at in regards to performing and actually, because you're opening the studio, how you're planning to like continue helping artists?
Yeah, I mean, Before the Wave was just like me, you know, trying to build like a platform for artists like myself to just, you know, get seen, get heard, and try to do their thing, you know. And it was cool. I mean, I think everybody enjoyed themselves. The artists enjoyed themselves. It was like more for like a lot of the younger artists that never done stuff like that. And I think it was a dope experience for everybody. You know, I mean, it's a lot of work, especially when you're one person trying to get like 8 to 10 artists on the same bill and organize
Bro, and
everything.
artists are divas, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you're like, bro, when you're just coming at them as an artist, y'all are all cool. But when you gotta manage something, you're
Yeah,
like,
it's tough, bro. It's tough. Especially, you know, younger cats, they can get kind of crazy.
yeah, yeah,
So, but yeah, that's pretty much what Before the Wave was. It was just like a platform that I did just to kind of, you know, help other artists get exposure, help myself get exposure. And I think it was good. I think it was good for the area. And yeah, I mean, I definitely, you know, have plans to do more shows and stuff like that and kind of, you know, do similar events in the future for
yeah.
sure. Just kind of working on planning it out and stuff like that, and hopefully we can make it happen.
So
Yeah.
man, that's dope. So
Mm-hmm.
El Mágico came out, you know, just a few months back.
Yeah.
It's making noise for
Mm-hmm.
you. what are your plans for 2024? Here we are going into the summer. We know the Stunna's always got something up his sleeve. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What are you working on now? What's going to be coming down the pipeline next?
Yeah. For the rest of 2024, I definitely want to try to release maybe like a project or two more. That's the plan. I'm working in the studio, trying to work on a couple projects and hopefully release a couple more by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Um, that's one thing. Number two is, like I said, I just opened my own production company slash studio company. So definitely going to be working on stuff like that with other artists.
Yeah.
So that's definitely on the way. I am gonna probably so I've actually gotten into acting. I've done that in the past, and I kind of been into it a little bit more recently. So I did like from starting from last year and this year, I've done like two independent movies that hopefully will get released sometime soon. I'm hoping they release it because it'll be dope, you know?
Isn't that's crazy because like as an MC, as a musician, you've got so much control over dropping a song. You could drop a song tonight if you wanted. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But then when you're part of like these projects that have so many people involved, you got to kind of go in, you put your heart into it, and then you got to wait for the whole thing to finish and for it to come out. I was
yeah,
looking up on the IMDb the International Movie Database
yeah,
and found The Cabin,
yeah,
right, which is a joint that you worked on. Can you
yeah,
talk to us about some of the movies that you've worked on and how this kind of desire for acting, because you love doing music videos, you got so many of them out there.
yeah.
Talk to us about the acting. Unpack that a little bit for us.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the acting thing, I don't know, it's just something that I was just like, I mean, just with, doing music videos, I was like, let me try this out. I mean, I never thought that I could do acting in my life, to be honest. It's not something that I ever was like, man, I want to be, I mean, when I was younger, I was like, I want to be a rapper. But then like, I don't know, just doing music videos and stuff like that. And then I guess being around videographers and photographers and stuff like that, I was like, let me try acting. So yeah, so that movie, The Cabin, it was a dope experience. I think that was probably like one of my first times being like on an actual film set.
Yeah, like a
Um,
set.
yeah. So and unfortunately, I think everybody. So it was like a little like a short film, and I think everybody got cut out. That went in the movie. It was just only based around one guy. And so everybody else like that was like extras or whatever, they got cut out the movie.
Got it. So the
Yeah,
end product, everybody that like came out and participated, kind of didn't make the cut.
pretty much, yeah. But everyone got like credit on the IMDb, but like it's only like one person in the whole movie the whole
Hey man,
time.
take it.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, and then I guess more recently I kind of been just kind of more into like going to castings and really trying to learn the craft of acting, just like I've learned the craft of rapping and making music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just where I'm at now. I did so both of the roles that I did recently, they've actually been cop roles. I did one last year for this movie. I think it's called like Seeds or something like that. It was pretty big budget film that was here locally. Hopefully they release it sometime soon. And then there's another movie that I did that I was a cop for. It's called The New Balance Boys, and that's like a DC based independent film, and hopefully that will get released this year soon too.
The New Balance boys.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. It's I mean, if you're from DC or DMV,
Yeah, yeah, you know about the New
it's
Balance.
all about the New Balance. So you know what I mean. So that was a dope experience too. And I think I'm gonna just kind of keep my options open, and just like with music, just kind of just keep trying to experiment different things and see what the acting doors can open up.
Yeah.
You know.
In LA, this is the entertainment hub, right? This is where they make so many of the movies that come out.
Hmm.
And there's a spot that you go to that's central casting, right?
Okay.
You just go right up to Burbank,
Hmm.
you go to central casting, you register, and you provide your headshot, you provide a reel if you have it, and what you're open to, and you get opportunities, you get gigs and things like that.
Yeah.
For people in the DMV, how do you go about doing that? Like if somebody's watching this, right, they love your music, they've been interested in doing, you know, some acting also.
Mhm.
What advice would you give them for somebody who's actually out in the DMV to get those opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, I would say right now it seems like in the DMV there's more people that are trying to do like independent films and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I would say definitely online, Instagram. That's been where I've been seeing most of the castings and stuff like that.
yeah,
So yeah, just you know, kind of just do research online, any networking events that you may see and stuff like that. That's where I've met all the people that I've connected with so far as far as the acting stuff.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, and you know, I mean, if you're able to, or if you want to take it more serious, definitely, you know, acting schools and stuff like that. I know they even have them. I've been doing my own research. They got them out here in the DC area too.
Yeah.
So that's probably, you know, something that I'm gonna look into in the near future. So
That's good.
yeah, I mean, and then yeah, I mean, and then you know, definitely like Atlanta, and of course LA, New York. Those are all like big city hubs when it comes
Yep.
to acting and stuff like that. So if you're able to, you know, touch over there for a little bit, it definitely would help.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's good. That's helpful for somebody that's like, you know, has experience in the creative field, but is now moving into acting and has a couple under his belt, you know, for
Hmm.
people to hear, you know, directly from you.
Yeah.
When it comes to your music, you know, you got a lot of projects out. You've made many mixtapes and the Silver City Surfer and the early Desafío projects, the new El Mágico.
Hmm.
Can you talk to us about your creative process? How do you go about um, making songs, making albums? What's it like?
Um, I mean, I guess for me, it's just really of just I guess trying to you know feel inspired. I think
Yeah,
for me, what I usually do is I'll listen to the beat first,
yeah,
and based on how the instrumental makes me feel, that's kind of that's kind of the beginning of the process
yeah,
for making for you know like if I listen to the beat, I like the beat, then I'm like, all right, you know, I can start writing to the beat, and then it kind of goes from there, writing maybe you know writing some lyrics, um, or maybe I'll start recording, and you know maybe like just a hook or something like that to kind of get it going. So yeah, but I would say definitely it's always based around how the instrumental makes me feel, you
the
know. Um,
emotion inside of the instrumental.
yeah, I would say that's the main thing that kind of starts the process.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes if I'm in a good mood, I want to hear like up tempo beats and stuff like
Hmm.
that. If I'm feeling like, you know, like more down and stuff, I'm like I want to hear some beats that's, you know, gonna be making me talk about real life
Yeah.
stuff. So, you know, so
That's dope.
yeah.
And then in regards to like your actual songwriting process, do
Hmm.
you write the rhymes? Do you create them in your head? Do you write them on your phone? Do you punch in and kind of like you come up with 4 bars, record it, come up with 4 bars, record it? Or do you write the entire song and then go in, block out the studio? I
Yeah.
think people always love to hear, you know, how the songs that they like, how the artists that they enjoy listening to, how they actually created the end product.
Yeah, yeah. So like with me, um, yeah, I think I'm more old school with it. I think because I was just like always growing up, we had to like, you know, pay for studio by the hour and stuff like that. So you always had wanted to be prepared because like time was money.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you didn't have your lyrics prepared and you're writing lyrics in the studio, then you're gonna have to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I do now is I typically try to write most of the song in my phone.
Yep.
Um, and but even now, you know, I have a in-home studio.
Yep.
So I mean, I guess it's like I'm kind of a little more lenient with it. I'll kind of, you know, maybe write the main parts of the song and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like you have enough of it done that you could just go in and start working.
Yep, yep. And then yeah, and then you know, kind of see where it goes from
Yeah.
there, and then you know I can. And actually, I've kind of tried to like go in and start like freestyling and stuff,
I've
try to be like
I've
on my
heard
real.
artists that do this. Like
Yeah,
Nas does it like that. The RZA does it like that. Tupac used to do it like that, where they
yeah,
have like an idea, then they Jay-Z does a lot like that, right?
yeah. Yeah, so I've I've tried it where it's like I'll put the beat, I'll listen to it a few times, and I'll record and try to see kind of how long I can rap until like it doesn't make sense,
Yeah,
and kind of start and kind of clean it up and punch in from
yeah,
there. So I've experimented with that. I don't know, maybe in the future I'll start doing it more.
yeah.
But as of now, yeah, I kind of hear the beat, write it on my phone, and then kind of go in from there.
That's dope, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for
yeah,
sharing that.
yeah,
I
no
think,
problem.
I think people find that fascinating how creatives create. You've been creating for so long that
Yeah,
you know how to make a song, but for other people just starting out or they're just interested in the process,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And then in regards to production,
hmm
how do you go about, finding music, working with producers? What's your process with production?
Yeah, I mean, with producers, I kind of, I've just, been lucky. I've been able to meet, producers and stuff, either online or in person and stuff like that. So I kind of just, you know, um, kind of, I guess, get a feel for their sound, and I just kind of reach out if I feel like it makes sense with my type of music.
Hmm.
I make more lyrical type music. So I guess I try to, kind of find producers that can bring that out, have
Yeah,
that kind of sound. So yeah, I mean, I'm open to working with, all types of producers, people from all over, and I have met producers from out of the country and stuff like that. And hopefully I'll be working with some in the future. But yeah, just it's just kind of just organically meeting producers online, in person, and stuff like that, building from there. Because I think even with like projects, especially now, it's because I mean, just people don't listen to albums and stuff like that anymore.
yeah.
So
It's more single,
yeah,
shorter songs.
yeah. So what I'm trying to do now is that if I am, releasing projects or anything, I wanted to, be cohesive. So I wanted to,
Hmm.
only probably work with one producer
Yeah.
for a specific project and kind of build from there. So like, hopefully, if we want to work together in the future, it makes it a lot easier and stuff like that. So
Yeah. That's really interesting. Do you find that your philosophy towards releasing music right now is more geared towards singles?
um, to be honest, uh, not really. I mean, I've always been like, again, I guess old school. Like I like the projects, I like the albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I guess just financially, I guess it doesn't make too much sense to invest in making an album and stuff like that
Right.
because you're not seeing the return really,
Yeah.
especially if you're still like an underground artist and you don't have like the huge fan base like the Drakes and Kendricks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Um, but yeah, I mean, so I what I've been trying to do is just work on music and not necessarily have in mind like this is a single or whatever. Just work on tracks and stuff like that, and then kind of just start brainstorming in my head like, okay, do these songs sound like they can be cohesive for a
Yeah.
project, and kind of go from there. Even with the project in Mágico, like the first, I mean, it was like a 20 song project because like the later songs, they were pretty old. They're like from 3-4 years ago that I've been like releasing on my SoundCloud, and then like the newer songs, those were like like made like 2024.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, might as well just put everything on a
Right.
project.
Put like
Yeah,
you have like the project, then it's like, well, let's make sure that these were captured somewhere.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's so I think that's kind of the mindset that I have right now. Just keep recording and then figure out, is this going to be a single, or do these songs make sense where it can be a project together, stuff like that. So
you've got different types of records, right? Like you've got like up tempo tracks. You've got earlier stuff where you've done things with Latin rhythms. You said on one song you're like, don't forget I could do this. You know what I'm saying? And then you went into like more like urban Latino. But what you're known for with the lyrical, with the lyrical songs is something that I've read you call confessional rap, right?
okay,
Can you talk
yeah.
to us about what that means and that style of rhyme that you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, it's just been natural, I think my best music has been the music where I'm the realist, like as far as talking about like what I'm feeling, what I'm going through. And I think it's just been based on, me being inspired and me growing up on the artists that I did, like the storyteller type artists, Biggie,
Yeah.
Nas, Pac, Jay-Z, those type of artists that, when you hear them and they're telling their story, you can really connect with it because it just seems so real. You know what I mean? It seems like they're being so real. Usually because it comes from a real place. I mean, it's all entertainment at the end of the day, but but usually it just feels more real when it comes from a real place.
That's good.
So yeah, so with me, I guess like the confessional rap is just talking about my life, talking about my feelings. I mean, we all deal with pain, anxiety, depression, stuff like that, like just real feelings that, sometimes, you just, you don't know how to release it, who to talk to and stuff like that. And so for me, it's therapeutic. I mean, it helps me a lot. Yeah. So
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah. What I've found is that when artists are vulnerable and they talk about real things that they've gone through, maybe for the artists they're kind of putting themselves out there, but people aren't focused so much on that. They're more focused on how they can relate to the artist, and it actually makes you relate to the artist. It makes you feel like they've gone through this struggle like I've gone through this struggle, and it makes you connect with them.
Yeah.
So that's really good. You mentioned several artists there that have that storytelling uh, music that you grew up on. Can you share with us, what some of the most impactful artists have been on your life? And then maybe if you can share with us, also in addition to hip hop, because you grew up in a Latin household, you grew up in the DMV, home of go-go and funk, right?
Yeah.
If you could talk to us about, some of that musical background that helped Stunna Lorenzana become who he is.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, I mean, again, my parents, they're from Central America. So, growing up, I just remember hearing a lot of cumbia. And I mean, to be honest, me personally, I don't specifically know a lot of like the cumbia artists,
Yeah.
even the older ones. But I just remember like hearing that like during the holidays, birthdays. So those, were early music, memories. And then like my dad, he listened to a lot of Michael Jackson, a lot of the Bee Gees, a lot of 80s music, so, that's, something that I remember a lot. And then for me, I think like maybe probably like 7, 8 years old. Maybe that's when I kind of started to discover rap and hip hop.
Yeah.
You know,
Change your life.
and yeah, it changed my life, man. I don't know. It's like, and to be honest, like as I started getting older, my parents, they just hated the
Bro.
music because they didn't understand it. And that made me more into it. So they kind of got me more into it. The more they would say, "Don't listen
Must be
to it."
good.
Yeah. So, I mean, like growing up, man, like Bone Thugs and Harmony, Cypress Hill, um, and once Biggie came, Jay-Z, Cash Money, I mean, these artists, like, you know, I just got mesmerized, you know what I mean? And then, you know, and the thing is that, you know, again, like, you know, immigrant parents, they were working every day, right? So it was just me and my sister, and I was her babysitter, and we be in the house all day, 24/7 after school. And what am I doing? Watching BET and MTV.
Yeah.
And that was like my teacher.
Yeah, I could relate 100%. Latchkey kid. Let
Yeah,
yourself in.
yeah. So, you know, so when you're like 10 years old and this is what you're watching on TV, you're like mesmerized. You're like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, yeah, those were, you know, a few of the artists that I was like, if, you know, I mean, Big Pun, DMX, like, I was like, yo, if I want to get into this, I wanna rap like them. I wanna,
Yeah.
you know, I wanna study what they do.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Can you share with us? That's probably a good segue to like let people know where the name Stunna Lorenzana came from.
yeah. Stunna Lorenzana. So Lorenzana's my actual last
The dope,
name.
dope name.
Yeah, that's my dad's last name. So it's from Guatemala. I think it's Italian, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds Italian.
There gotta be some sort of lineage from Italy with the
Your dad
last name.
was stunting on a mountain. Granddad was stunting out in Guatemala.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. So Lorenzana is my real last name, and then Stunna just kind of came as a, I don't know, like, you know, when I started like rapping in middle school, high
Yeah.
school, like I was like, man, I need like a rap name, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then and then like when I started, I was like a big fan of Eminem, and so Eminem, he had like the Slim Shady thing going on, right?
Right. Right.
So when I first started, I was like, all right, he's Slim Shady, I'm gonna be Slim Stunna. And then at the time, again, because I was a Cash Money fan, I think Baby or the Big Timers, they had a song called "The Number One Stunner."
That's right.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take the Eminem and I'm gonna take the Cash Money and I'm gonna put it together. So I was Slim Stunner. That was my first rap name when I first started.
That's a dope name.
Yeah. So that was, you know, that was like my little rap name in high school and stuff like that. And then, you know, and then it kind of like even with the Desafio, I think I was still Slim Stunner when I was rapping with them. And then like as I transitioned into going on my own, I was like, I'm gonna leave this the Slim, take the Stunner, and then put my last name.
That's dope.
And you know, that's kind of been my I guess like my persona, you know what I mean? And with the whole entertainment thing.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good. Stunna Lorenzana, my
yeah.
bro, it's been a pleasure to have you on the Cristopolis show. If people want to connect with you, if they want to like follow you online, if they want to check out your music, if they want to send you beats, if they want to buy a verse, what's the right way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're on any social media platforms, excuse me, you can contact me at Stunna Lorenzana. So it's STUNNALORENZANA. I know it's a long ass name, but yeah, you can contact me directly on all the social media platforms. Everything is under Stunna Lorenzana. I also have a website, www.stunnalorenzana.com. Again, it's spelled the same, where you can contact me directly on there. Yeah, I guess Instagram right now is like the easiest. I think that's where
That's where everybody lives.
at right now, you know. But I think those are the two easiest way to connect with me. Yeah, if you want to email, I mean, you can stunalorenzana@gmail.com if you
Yeah,
want to email me. But right now, those are the best ways I would say to connect and reach out. And I'm willing to work with anybody that you know has an idea or anything. We could definitely try to build together.
that's dope, my bro. That's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah.
My bro, I've been watching your career for years. It's a pleasure and an honor to sit down with you for a bit and talk about your career, everything you got going on. I can't wait to see what you got coming in 2024. and I'm really happy that you're getting into acting. I think that that's gonna, open up lots of doors for you, my bro.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, I might be going to LA possibly within a few weeks. So
Dope.
if I
Hit me up.
yeah, if I do, I'll definitely reach out.
Yeah, you got my number, my bro.
Yeah, yeah. All right, bro.
Peace.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.